problem is that you have to go after the racist people. And if the CEO goes, you know what, I'm not going to allow a woman on my show or man that will go after white America and talk about them like dogs. That doesn't represent our ideals or values for anyone. And get rid of those people. And this will clear up real quick. So do you have to actually look in the mirror and clean up your own backyard and get the racist people out? Because that's who you allowed in. You allowed black racist on TV who could just go all day and say anything about white people. And I guess lo and behold, they forgot that there's a lot of people at home, white people at home during the day that are not watching your show anymore. So.
For years The View has been unraveling in plain sight, drifting further from balanced discussion into relentless fixation on Donald Trump. What was once promoted as a lively exchange of perspectives has hardened into predictable repetition of partisan talking points. Volume replaced substance, outrage replaced debate, and viewers who once tuned in for conversation now witness constant ideological theater. The frustration has been building, and the audience can feel the shift.
You said tempers reached a boiling point backstage at The View between Whoopi Goldberg and TV judge Jeanine Pirro.
Republican presidential candidate Tim Scott facing some of his harshest liberal media critics head on.
Not going very well for the ladies at The View. Whoopi Goldberg reportedly threatening to quit after getting suspended from the show for 2 weeks over her comment about the Holocaust. Whoopi's co-hosts are said to be furious with the decision. Here's how the show...
The turning point came during a live television clash when Tyrus, political commentator and former professional wrestler, openly challenged the atmosphere surrounding Whoopi Goldberg and the broader culture of The View. From its earliest seasons, the show thrived on sharp disagreement, but over time controversy began to eclipse discipline. Whoopi Goldberg herself faced intense backlash after widely criticized comments about the Holocaust, remarks many viewers believed were historically distorted. That moment symbolized a broader pattern where inflammatory statements overshadow accountability.
Race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity.
Breaking news overnight. The View co-host Whoopi Goldberg suspended for 2 weeks for her comments about...
On Fox News, Tyrus addressed the issue directly, refusing to soften his critique. He argued that constant outrage disguised as moral clarity erodes credibility. His assessment was blunt, calculated, and unfiltered. He framed the discussion as less about disagreement and more about consistency, questioning whether the panel applies the same standards to itself that it demands of others. The clarity of his argument forced attention onto the structural tone of the program rather than isolated headlines.
People you're not comfortable with. And what we saw on that show was Whoopi was going down, her own personal beliefs were coming out, and her peers said she's hanging herself, let's enjoy the fire.
Really? You think that?
Bayar said, asked her a question again to get her repeated. Then you saw when your friend has been suspended.
Then attention shifted to Sunny Hostin, whose past remarks criticizing white women for voting Republican ignited controversy across the political spectrum. Critics viewed those comments as sweeping generalizations that deepen division rather than encourage dialogue. The debate intensified over whether such rhetoric advances discussion or entrenches polarization.
Surprising to me is the abortion issue. I read a poll just yesterday that white Republican suburban women are now going to vote Republican.
Why?
It's almost like roaches voting for raid, right?
I think they're voting. No, it's insulting to the voter.
They're voting against their own self-interest.
We talk on the show.
Gilead.
Okay, so do we love democracy or not? Because
next came Joy Behar, long known for sharp commentary. Her criticism of Caroline Leavitt escalated into what many described as exaggerated outrage to supporters. It was passionate advocacy to detractors. It resembled theatrical indignation, emblematic of a broader tendency towards spectacle over substance.
She's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
This is her first time.
I think it's
Observers argue that the issue is no longer about spirited debate but about tone. Cheap insults, heated interruptions, and emotional crescendos increasingly dominate exchanges. During a November 15, 2024 appearance alongside Greg Gutfeld and fellow panelist Tyrus discussed how Hollywood and segments of mainstream media were recalibrating their posture after the presidential election. The conversation centered on authenticity, accountability, and whether audiences are growing weary of scripted outrage.
Times are a-changing. Jim, I'm going to give you 3 great things that are happening. The LA Times is replacing its entire editorial board to more closely reflect all opinions. After Donald Trump's landslide win, Hollywood claims it's going to be more welcoming to conservative actors.
Amid this turbulence, a new question emerged whether The View might seek a consistent pro-Trump voice to broaden ideological representation. Some viewers believe that restoring genuine debate could revive the program. Others remain skeptical. Regardless, the larger conversation reflects a shifting media landscape where audiences demand clarity, balance, and substance over perpetual confrontation.